my goodness.
Mr. Oskay, what's happening?
Hey, J.O.
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
Hi, Jeff. I see eyeballs on your necktie.
I got a new tie. Listener Karen Sue sent this in to me for my birthday last week. It's a little frog tie.
It's got cute froggies on it.
Why don't we ask our listeners to send you a new tie every week?
Yeah,
Well,
that's what I'm trying to get going, in case you hadn't noticed that.
I had noticed it until you underscored it by stating it.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, hold it. So it's a tie with little frog eyes on it, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
How do you make it make that sound?
Yeah.
I have a bullfrog on my soundboard.
he just presses the belly of the frog.
That's nice. So cool.
Yeah.
Well, we'll post instructions how to
And
send
I don't
a
know
tie
if
to
you saw this. I'm going with a full Windsor knot today, so I mean business.
Yeah, you do.
All right.
Oh, before we get started, I'm Jeff Oskay. We give you a lot of the news each week. We don't give you all the news, so I'm here to give you the news that we failed to mention.
Now, here's Jeff Oskay with what you failed to mention news.
The Failed to Mention News Desk is once again sponsored by Slim Pickens, the clothing store for those small in stature. Shopping for an old anorexic aunt or a hard-to-buy-for bulimic in your life? Then Slim Pickens is for you. Sign up now for our No Chub Club to receive 1% off your first order. At Slim Pickens, we only have one rule. No fatties.
No fatties.
Last week, you talked about how senior citizens are more sexually active than ever. What you failed to mention, that's why they eat so early, so they can get back to the room for boning. Last week after my performance, I got a lot of letters from paramedics and doctors saying that I was breathing way too heavily after running down the hall to kiss chick, and that I should go see a medical professional right away. Well, you failed to mention, in my defense, I was running uphill in each direction. Now, I know that sucked, but I do have this written down because this did happen. I ran this joke by my lady last night to see if it made sense. She said, and I quote, "That's not a joke. That's just sad."
Oh, no.
Whoa.
All right. A flock of seagulls shut down a Venice Airport last week. What you failed to mention, the closest thing I've ever experienced to that was the one time I was on a flight and I got diverted after Hall & Oates got drunk and tried rushing the cabin.
As opposed to a flock of seagulls.
Yeah, both great bands of the early 80s.
If anybody was going to do that, it'd be Hall & Oates. I think you're right.
I love those guys.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of frogs, female frogs play dead to avoid sex. We learned that. Well, you failed to mention daddy frogs over here going, no, I didn't say I wanted you to croak on it. Oh, maybe this one. Or here's a backup. There's a new species of female frog that play dead when they want to get out of having sex. What you failed to mention, a move perfected by my ex-wife.
I was going to say, no difference between frogs and women. So, yeah.
Earlier this week, Tom was inquiring about the pixelating genitalia in Japanese porn. What you failed to mention, I had a listener write to me from Japan who watches our show on the YouTube. He wrote in and said, apparently when he watches our show, they pixelate out Tom.
That's weird.
That's offensive to my boss. Oh, sorry about that.
That's okay.
The lack of charging stations in some parts of the country has resulted in charging confrontations between EV owners trying to get a charge. Well, you failed to mention there's probably a lot of, how dare you? And, come on, man. I'm not seeing a lot of fisticuffs taking place. I've never understood the big deal with EVs. I drove an EV from 8th grade all the way through my senior year of high school when I worked across the street at the country club. But back then, we weren't all pretentious. We just called them golf carts. Chick yesterday talked about the old hole-in-the-pocket trick where perverted dudes cut a hole in their pocket so they can touch their junk in public without anyone knowing.
That's right.
What you failed to mention, rumor is Tom has to cut a hole in his sock.
Ooh.
Oh, is that right, Tom?
Ways down.
It's way down there, Tom.
Yeah. That's why I do Pilates, so I can access it.
And finally, yesterday, Chick once again was talking about how Tom finds all these poo-related stories, and Chick never comes across a single one of them, and he wants to know how that's possible. What you failed to mention, well, Chick, when your Google alerts are Deuces Wild, Dookie, Copperphilia, Dookie Rope, Fudge Fountain, Cleveland Steamer, John Mayer, Chuck Berry, Poo Canoe, Fecalphilia, Tornado, Shark, Log Cutter, Doo-Doo Butter, Bum Crumbs, Tar Biscuit, Hot Carl, Mississippi Mudboat, Scatastrophe, Brown Betty, Skid Marks, and Cordon Poo, you're going to see those kind of articles. I'm Jeff Oskay, and this has been the news that we...
What you failed to mention news. Jeff Oskay.
Thank you, Jeffrey.
Cordon poo.